I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid. You will be. Will be. You will be.
So first off, you have a book. You had that's on Amazon. Am I right?
That's correct.
Okay.
The name of the book is Christmas is Coming. All I want for Christmas is good credit and positive cash flow. That's the subtitle.
And what is it about?
The book is about just that. It's about ways of establishing good credit or so-called good credit, and more importantly, a steady cash flow. As we were just talking, and there's so many different ways to establish cash flow from the traditional ways of just working a 9 to 5.
Right.
And that's really a 9 to 5 is really you're really working on a fixed income. You don't know it. We really talk about fixed income when you get over 65 and people, oh, now I'm going to be on this fixed income. Well, you've been on a fixed income.
Right.
From the credit phase, it talks about understanding the credit, what the credit is, what you're looking at when you look at your report.
Okay.
Different ways enhance your score, taking responsibility for the debt. Because only when you do that, it's the kind of thing, no pain, no gain. If I just send some letters and get something wiped off my credit, I really haven't taken responsibility for it, right? And it doesn't necessarily go away. It's still debt that I may owe, maybe, depending on what type of debt it is. I don't really want to get too much because it's a difficult thing with credit. There's so many different moving parts.
Yeah.
For the most part, the main thing is just to take responsibility for it, know when to use it, know what type of purchases to use your credit for, and more importantly, know when you're actually using your credit. Have you run out of money?
Okay.
See, a lot of us, including myself, we run out of money, and then we use that credit in the interim. And this is where all these payday loans and all these high interest loans came from people that already ran out of credit. They ran out of money, they ran out of credit. Now we're going to give you a 23% interest until you get your check, and we're going to be the first ones to take that money out of there too. And it's a vicious cycle. I mean, it can go on for generations.
Right.
Not just your life, but it can be passed down. And in our community, and I'm not going to just say our community because there's some of us that may not have been experienced and exposed to that.
Okay.
I'll just say in the community where I grew up. How about that?
All right.
In the community I grew up.
All right.
That's what I saw. And so I wanted to I ain't gonna go no further. Go ahead.
Well, no, I'm glad I'll say I'm gonna take it a little further. When is the proper time to use credit?
I would say for things like big purchases, and those things would be now I'm talking on just an average person. I'm not talking. There's two different people we're going to talk about that I'll mention. I'm talking about for just an average individual, a daily person that may just be working a 9 to 5. They may have just a little small business or a part-time job, depending on your household makeup. That you may have to do that, right?
Right.
So for that person, I would say to purchase a car, okay, and to buy a home, okay. Now you will use it. You will use it for different checks, like if you get in an apartment, but they're not leveraging anything against it, right?
Okay.
Now, those are the two things that I would say. And again, I'm speaking to someone probably between the ages of 18 to 55.
Okay.
That's what I'm really targeting. 18 to 55. That's when you should use your credit.
Ladies and gentlemen, get ready for the most electrifying, the most entertaining, and the downright most incredible channel on YouTube, the Inky Mann channel, where motivation meets gluttony, where Vegas meets victory, and where your love for the Patriots meets its match. Don't miss out on the fun, the food, and the fanaticism, because life is too short not to laugh along with Inky Mann. Subscribe now to the Inky Mann Show channel.
So now I remember I had a post up, and I can't remember it right now, but I remember one of it was having a lump sum. It was like 4 things, and one of the out of the 4 was having a lump sum of money. Another one was having an 800 credit score.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, I said I'd rather have the 800 credit score. Now, at the same
Okay.
time, I don't know if we match on this, but I know when to use credit. So
Okay.
the thought process for me is you have the credit,
Okay.
you use the credit, and you use your cash to pay the credit. At the same time, if you are financially literate, which is where I think we're going down the path of with this, you can enable your credit to put yourself into a business that will create the cash flow to pay the credit.
At the end of the day, it's whatever works for you. All right. I'm not coming on. I'm not speaking from a guru status. I don't speak that. I don't listen to them. Okay. I'm speaking from, I've found some things that work. I've seen it work in other people's lives. And I've seen some of the pitfalls that other people were going through. And that's what this book is about. It talks about those warnings, those red flags. Initially, the book was written just for my kids. Now, I want to put that out there before I answer your question. I'm personally taking the money.
Okay.
That's what I would do. At this point in time in my life, I'm 50, 3 kids. I'm taking that bag.
Okay.
Okay? Because one, I'm taking that bag, dog. Real talk. I'm taking the bag, you know? Because I know right now a few investments I can make to keep bringing that back passively. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
Now the credit score, again, if I got the credit score, that doesn't secure any cash flow.
Okay.
For me, it doesn't secure any cash flow.
Okay.
Now, some people may say, well, I can go out here with an 800 credit score and I can buy a house and then I can rent it out and I can Airbnb it. That was the latest thing. That's well, I'm not gonna say it's dead, but it's taking a decline. Anyway,
Yeah, it's getting beat. Yeah.
It's getting beat up a little bit, that Airbnb, depending on who you are. You know, depending on who you are. Some people are still seeing growth, some people are not. But credit score is a thing where my book teaches you how to move without it.
Okay.
Because so much emphasis is on credit. And people lose their damn mind. They lie to friends. You know, like, oh, what's your credit score? They feel credit shaming is a real thing, man. Credit bullying. I mean, these things are real things.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, if a person comes around you and your group and they saying, well, let's just put it on the credit. I mean, you lose friends behind it. They're supposed to pay you back. You just charged up an $800, $1,000 trip. They ain't pay you back. Listen, cash flow is more important in my book. It's my opinion,
right?
Than credit. Okay, they go hand in hand. But if you had to pick one or the other in your scenario, 800 credit score or $100,000, give me the bag.
Now, is that because now what I'm hearing you say is because it has an ending? Like once I give you this and we've exchanged that piece of paper, that's it. Versus credit is I'll do this later. Is that fair to say?
Well, there's so many intangibles with credit. So let's say you had $100,000 the same thing. You got $100,000 line of credit, right? That's the credit. You got the 800 credit score, and you go out here and get $100,000. It's not realistic because you probably need some collateral. But let's just say it happened. Okay. So you got this $100,000 line of credit, and what are you going to go buy with it? Like, what would you do with it? If you first of all, once you take over 30% of that 100,000, 30,000 lump sum, depending on what credit card it is, red flag gonna go up, and they might decrease that $100,000 down to about 40.
I get you.
See, so there's so many different intangibles with this thing, with this $100,000 line of credit or this $800 credit score. See?
Are you speaking in utilization in that particular case?
Utilization, correct.
Okay.
So if you utilize 30% of that 100,000, that's a red flag.
Got you.
Okay. And they base that off statistics.
Right.
And the reason why, now let's go back to what I initially said. The reason why it's a red flag for them because they know that people replace the lack of cash with credit.
Right.
I'm out, yo.
Tune in Friday for part 2 of the interview with Darryl Harmon.
I'm out, yo.